Sounds about right. I'm sure we could check that on the analytics channel. By the way, I think my live stream is now there. Like I've started it. So you should be able to, if you look at like my channel, it should show a box with an actual indication of the live stream. One word. So you're doing the search in YouTube, and does it find? I don't know if it would be a search. I would think that one of the choices, and I'm just going and looking at it now also, would be like live streams versus edited videos. And if you choose the live streams, like I just be there because it's live. I'm just getting to the same place, although since I'm not on an iPad, it may not be the same, but we'll see how. Okay, now, when I just went, first of all, have you subscribed to my channel? Okay, would you mind doing so? Okay, because I think if you subscribe and press the notification bell, quote unquote, as they say, you'll get notified when I'm having a live stream. And I think then if you just go to your home page, I should show up. Okay? And go to the home of YouTube, like, yep, that's it. And you should see the link to the text of Science and Sanity title card on the screen. I'm Could you silence the audio from the iPad? I know. You just got the same audio first from me over the phone, and then you heard it on the iPad. Really? You can't adjust the volume? Okay. And I'm going to do a transition to my camera here. I'm not too happy with that video, but I assume you're getting it now? No? Oh, maybe it's in a couple of seconds. Yeah, so it's interesting that there's such a long delay, but let's not get into that. For our purposes, it might be interesting to talk about it at some point. And I can actually show you the mosquito mailing. Yeah, if you like, I mean, that's just, you can send messages to me and I can send messages back, I think. It's not voice, no. Right. But I would like you to try that because I'd like to see how long it takes for it to appear here. So why don't you go ahead and send a chat message. Presumably, it'll be a kind of a chat window, and if you touch inside it, you'll be able to type a message. Okay. I don't have it yet. But that'll pretty much answer the question. It's pretty long already. I mean, I'm amazed that I thought the chat might be almost instant. Oh, okay, I just got the ahoy and I got a hi. Okay, let's try another message and tell me when you send it. Okay. Okay, got it. Mm-hmm. And do you have any questions, either audio or text? Well, I guess obviously if you have text, you can type them at any time and I will be able to see them. Are you ready for me to start chapter 7? Yeah. Okay. Mm-hmm. You should have Taming Your Mind as well, but I don't know whether it's in the bookshelf. Interesting. I think so. Uh-huh. Ah, classics. I think some of the other books and authors you mentioned are referenced in Science and Sanity. I'm more sure about Thomas Paine, but maybe the prophet was that the, I forget, Cahill Gilbrain, something like that. Because the name does sound familiar to me. Yeah, I think that's an author who's quoted in Science and Sanity. Yeah. Really, I think so. Hmm. 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 Yeah, I don't know what to say to that. We could go into a discussion of whether, like, we have to thank God for that, and if so, how do we do so? Or I could start reading chapter 7 from Taming Your Mind. Okay. Now I switched the screen to a title card. But if you prefer to watch me either as mainly cam, which is this, or mainly, no, cam, C-A-M for camera, or mainly turret, which is a different camera. See all these professional looking transitions? That's because of the time delay. You will. Hmm. And is it a big part of the screen or a little corner? Uh-huh. Okay, yeah, I'm going to go back to it. I'm going to tell you when the transition occurs, and then we'll keep talking and see how long it is. All right? Now, so, do you have like, right, I understand that there's going to be a delay, and that delay seems like it might be anywhere from 10 seconds to perhaps several minutes. Mm-hmm. So do you have another topic you'd like to talk about, or a question you want to ask in the interim, or do you want me to start reading chapter 7, Differences May Make a Difference? Okay. That's a pretty amazing delay. I think it might still be under a minute, but it's a lot of seconds. It'll be interesting to measure it. Okay. You think? Thank you. I think in this video, it makes it look like I have a mustache, at least the way I'm seeing it on my monitor. Huh. Okay, now I can take it down. Yeah. I'm just trying to think about whether or not there's a way to eliminate the delay, either in terms of how you're connected or just setting some parameters on YouTube. And mm-hmm. So at the risk of getting repetitive, are you ready for me to begin reading Chapter 7, Differences May Make a Difference? Or do you want to read it? But you understand that the audio is not piped into the live stream, at least as far as I know. Okay. Okay, I've done it. Right. Good question. And obviously it wouldn't work in this case, but it's like a green screen, and it's kind of this flexible thing. See? Oh, you can't see. I'm going to switch back No, it's no good with this delay. But anyway, it's a green screen, and if I would change the angle so that you can't see anything else, then I'd be able to make a background appear behind me. Yeah, kind of. No, it's a green screen that is a little two-dimensional object that unfolds, and depending on the camera angle, it could fill the scene, and if it did, then I could switch it with another background by keying off the green. Did that make sense? Yeah. If I had, it's just too painful with the delay to show things, although yeah, I want to do like a video where I would actually use it to explain it. It's just too painful to try to explain it using only words. It's maybe no, it's maybe 6 feet in diameter, so it's like about the same size as me, and it's round. Yeah. Nope. Nope. We're at tool number 4 on page 90, the Watt index, and it's chapter 7. Yeah. Yeah. Differences may make a difference. And we have a quote from Ralph Waldo Emerson: "Nature never rhymes her children, nor makes two men alike." In the past 3 chapters, we have reviewed our plight as thinkers who, by the nature of things, must struggle along with incomplete knowledge in a degree world with minds that have personal idiosyncrasies. And we have only begun to find out about things that threaten to upset our verbal maps if we are not vividly aware of them. In this and the following 2 chapters, we will discuss other characteristics of the world that make it difficult for us to produce adequate maps. As in the last 3 chapters, we will find tools for thinking that will keep these monkey wrenches from jamming our mental machinery for making reliable verbal maps. We live in a world in which no 2 things are alike in all respects. We cannot, for example, meet 1 or 2 or even a dozen Cubans and generalize about all Cubans. We cannot use one electric razor and make verbal maps that cover all electric razors. Each individual is in some ways unique. Up to a point, they're all different. Look anywhere you want for 2 things that are alike in all respects. 2 grains of sand, 2 peas in a pod, 2 people, 2 fingernails, 2 leaves on a tree, or 2 sticks of chewing gum. You will find many things that are similar. You will have no trouble You will have no trouble finding things that for your purposes are interchangeable. But so far as I know, you will never find 2 things that are absolutely identical. In spite of mass production and careful inspection, no 2 cars ever produced at a factory are absolutely identical. They may look alike from outside the show window, and the price on each may be the same, but each car will have its own particular pattern of strength and weakness. Various nuts and bolts and screws will be tightened to different degrees and will rattle apart at different times. Microscopic flaws and cracks in the metal parts will exist in different places and will play different parts in the process of deterioration. I'm going to take a little pause. The packages of toothpicks and matches we buy are amazingly alike up to a point. But when we pull out a magnifying glass, or if necessary, a microscope, the differences begin to show up. Distance makes for seeing similarities. Nearness helps us to see differences. 2 cars that are 3 miles away, even though different models and colors, will seem identical to the unaided eye. As we get closer, the differences are noticeable. From across a pasture, it would be difficult to tell a bull from a cow, but we make no mistake at close range. From down the block, 2 lampposts may look identical. From our yard, the leaves on the neighbor's tree look alike. From across the room, it is difficult to distinguish 2 phonograph records from the same album. If we hold 2 new razor blades from the same package in our hand, we may have difficulties distinguishing between them until we use a magnifying glass to get us closer. 2 highly polished steel balls may appear identical even with a powerful magnifying glass, but differences will be easily seen when a microscope brings us 1,000 times closer. How group words mislead us. As should be apparent by now, We live in a world where we can easily be misled by the words we use if we do not automatically remember that two things may be labeled alike and yet act quite differently. This is something that most of us know, but few people ever think about the problem enough to realize its extensive implications and to figure out how they can meet it in their thinking habits. Instead, we blithely go on using language and thinking habits that often lead us to make fools of ourselves. Please remember, group words such as man, house, dog, Californian, tree, etc., that is, all collective and abstract nouns, do not tell what kind, when, and where. Due to faulty language and thinking habits, all of us have picked up from our teachers, parents, playmates, and others. We tend to assume we are talking about something definite and specific when we use a group word, as for instance, dog. Actually, animals that are properly labeled dog will range from sassy little handfuls of caninity, like the Mexican Chihuahua, to massive Great Danes. Dogs will range from sweet-tempered and patient animals that will take any amount of abuse from children whom they love, to paranoid and pugnacious mutts that probably dream of such delicious adventures as severing human jugular veins. Under the word dog, you'll find sickly, persnickety animals that have grown accustomed to 97 cents a pound hamburger that has been properly cooked and salted, to animals that do well for themselves just foraging off neighborhood garbage cans. Dogs may be found that are fit only for cuddling on milady's lap. There are other dogs that will protect the house against burglars, rescue drowning children, do tricks such as jumping through flaming rings and barking to 10, herd sheep, go on sentry duty, or carry a cask of brandy to people lost in the snow. Anyone who says that he likes dogs is liking a whole lot, and anyone who says he doesn't like dogs is disliking a whole lot. If our language is to grab hold of reality, if we are to make maps that represent the territory and have a high degree of predictability, we must remember that thinking in terms of groups can often mislead us if we are not aware of the dangers. There are no automobiles in general, dogs in general, or men in general adrift in our world. There are only specific individuals of many different kinds that do things in definite places at definite times, and all these individuals may act in some ways different from others that are labeled by the same name. And I'm going to pause here. I don't know if you want to add anything. Yeah. Wow. Mm-hmm. No, it's a good story based off what I was reading, and I'm assuming that this entire thing will either be replaced or edited to take out pauses and sections that don't really make sense. In a way, I think I'm misusing, which is a strong word, the live stream concept here, and I should be producing videos and uploading them. But that seems like a lot of effort. So, plunging ahead, we ended with, I'm going to repeat a sentence, there are only specific individuals of many different kinds that do things in definite places at definite times, and all these individuals may act in some ways different from others that are labeled by the same name. I think that's a really important statement of the spirit of general semantics. The what index. The tool for thinking that helps us think in terms of individuals is called the what index. This is simply a number added to a group word. For example, dog 1, dog 2, dog 3, etc. Man 1, man 2, man 3, etc. Chair 1, chair 2, chair 3, etc. Please reread the following definition of the what index several times, then look at it again frequently while you are finishing this chapter. So I should probably have a title card that puts the what index on the screen at this point. The what index is simply a number that is added to a group word to give us a feeling of referring to a specific person or thing. The basic principle of this entire chapter is that no two individuals are identical. Here is how we say it with index numbers. Dog 1, a bulldog, is not dog 2, a Great Dane. Dog 3, a Great Dane, is not dog 3, a poodle, etc. I'm sorry. Dog 2, a Great Dane, is not dog 3. Also, dog 1, a bulldog with a white ring around left eye, is not dog 2, a bulldog with ring around both eyes, is not dog 3, a bulldog with scar between eyes, etc., etc. When we apply the index numbers to people, we find that man 1 is not man 2, man 2 is not man 3, man 3 is not man 4, man 16 is not man 17, etc. When we stop to think about it, we can see that we've been using index numbers all our lives, but in the past, we've just used them for certain things. For example, we assign index numbers to our streets and houses, such as 142 Southwest 3rd Street, we apply index numbers to the floors of buildings, floor 1, floor 2, floor 3, etc. The armed services assign serial numbers to all personnel. So why not use distinguishing numbers with all group words to remind us of differences between individual people and things? And I'm going to pause here too. Comments? Yeah, and normally you'd be thinking of a specific person when you actually used the technique. Like when you say man one or individual one, if your statement has any meaning, it would be for that specific individual that you're talking about. Maybe you don't know their name, but you're calling them individual one for purposes of your thinking or speaking about them. Did that make much sense? And there are many different thing ones, like there's telephone one and telephone two and briefcase one and briefcase two and so on. I think I know what you're getting at in bringing that up. But it's a very abstract concept that is difficult to talk about. It's like the nature of the group names we use, like briefcase and chair, to use ones that don't have any emotional associations, and more sensitive ones would be like Italians or men or women or Nazis or yeah, exactly. Like any abstract group name for a, a set of objects or people or animals, and it kind of calibrates your mind, if I may wax poetical. Right. Fortunately, some of the subscripts don't really go to infinity, although some of them, for all practical purposes, do. Like telephones is going to be a pretty big number, although not really infinite at all. Yeah, yeah. And big number with occasional infinities between them. Is that the next chapter, or are you bringing something? Oh, yeah, mental ghosts. Mm-hmm. Mental ghosts. When Peter was 5 years old, his mother ran away with a traveling salesman. After a year, his father married a woman who had two daughters several years older than Peter. The older girls made fun of Peter and giggled at him. He would try to get even by fighting back. The stepmother would then separate them and scold Peter for fighting. As he grew up, Peter felt more and more resentment toward these quote-unquote women in his life. At the age of 16, he got a job, left home, and lived by himself. At the grocery store where he was working, he met a young girl, went out with her a few times, and fell deeply in love with her until she jilted him in favor of a flashy young chap who had just acquired a shiny new convertible. Just as he was beginning to decide that quote-unquote women were no good, he met a sympathetic young lady with a beautiful profile who made him forget his quote-unquote troubles. They became engaged shortly before he went into the army. Before Peter went overseas, he got a short leave. On returning home for a surprise visit, he found his fiancée with another man in her bedroom. Peter was shocked and hurt, but he told himself he should have expected it. He should have known that women, all women, were no good, beginning with his mother who had deserted him, with his stepmother and her two brats, with the first girl who jilted him, and the second one who was untrue. They were, quote-unquote, all alike, insincere, heartless, and not to be trusted at all. He made up his mind never to be fooled by women again. Now the ghosts of the women he has known are projected onto every girl he meets. Girls, he advises, are okay for a little adventure, but if you have any sense, you won't take them seriously. They're all just alike. They'll fool you every time. Peter needs these index numbers badly. He is confusing all women with the few with whom he has had unfortunate experiences. His unfortunate experiences with woman 1, woman 2, woman 3, woman 4, and woman 5 make him unable to see clearly woman 6, woman 7, woman 8, woman 9, etc. He needs the index numbers to help him get these ghosts out of his mind. He has a mental set that makes him see all women as similar. He has become so embittered that he is actually unable to admit the possibility of differences that make a difference. I'm going to pause here. And I'm feeling that we've reproduced a Bible reading club really well by using YouTube and the concept of future editing of this video. Yes, and that is certainly the primary source of quote-unquote views, which YouTube does give me analytics on, and I've had 97 views as of like this morning. Yeah, although, like, some of the chapters just went up very recently. I don't know if there's anybody binge listening all the chapters. Binge listening or binge watching. Yeah. Yeah. Wow. And that's a technique for getting an earworm out of your head? Wow. Uh-huh. How about singing a different song? I've been listening to one track from Run Lola Run in my car. I put the CD player on repeat the track, and I've had it like that for a couple of weeks now. Yeah, the movie, but I have a soundtrack album from it. It's like a German movie, and it's almost entirely music there are little fragments of dialogue in it. And it's like the same story told 3 times, and Lola has to run to where her boyfriend has been dropped off after he lost some money in a car. Yeah. All the music in it has this like real driving beat. And the song that I've been listening to is I Wish I Was a Hunter in Search of Different Food. I wish I was an animal that fits into that mood. And there's like all this incredible drumming and rhythms going on. I'm sure if you type that into YouTube, which hopefully you're not going to do like while we're live streaming, although I guess it wouldn't matter from the standpoint of the live stream because we can't hear you anyway. What was I saying? So I think you could find Run Lola Run clips on YouTube that would give you the music. Maybe even the soundtrack album. Mm-hmm. Do you want to go on and finish the chapter now, or end the live stream? We've got about 4 pages left to go, maybe 4 or 6. Okay. They're not going to be on this. Correct. And people can see the chat afterwards, I believe, during the quote-unquote replay. And this will be really interesting and painful if somebody who actually wants to listen to Chapter 7 is trying to use this live stream. But I did label it a test or something like that, so hopefully people don't wander in accidentally here. Yes. I'm going to go ahead and stop it now. I'm stopping the live stream at 11:58 a.m., October 3rd, 2022, and this is Taming Your Mind, part of Chapter 7, along with all sorts of other stuff, and the entirety is copyright the Tuna Genome Project and licensed under a Creative Commons share alike and attribution license. And please don't let this episode affect your decision whether or not to subscribe and press the notification bell. Signing off now.